Hey, so we're going to pick up again where we left off yesterday. And so we're talking about the rod being one of discipline, which sets up parameters, which sets up our lane, so to speak, to keep us safe. And I have always been one that flourishes with guidelines. Like if I know where my boundaries are, if I know almost that I can go to this edge and I'm safe, or exactly where I can go, then I feel free to develop, to go, to try new things because I know that I'm safe within those walls. And that's one thing within our children too. When we know our parameters, we feel safe, we feel secure, and we can enjoy and have fun. We can fully develop. We can try new things. We can just almost find ourselves because we're in a safe place, and we know that in that place we have freedom and we're secure. So I'm just throwing that out there to you, that parameters are a good thing. They are a very good thing. Our children feel safe within parameters, and we feel safe within parameters. If we know that God has said X, Y, and Z, and if we are under those parameters, then we are safe. If we are doing what He has said do, then we are protected in that. But the moment that we begin to step out of those parameters, the moment that we begin to put something else in place of God, the moment that we begin to trust in our job, or trust in our riches, trust in our money, or trust in our knowledge, even trust in our degrees, trust in our experiences, the moment that we begin to put trust in something other than what God has said, then we have wandered outside of the parameters. And what happens when you wander outside of the parameters, right? It's not safe anymore. And when we wander away from the shepherd, we are open and susceptible to the enemy, who we've read this year too. Peter, let me just go there. Always tries to hide from me. 1 Peter 5:8, and he says, "Be well balanced, temperate, sober of mind, be vigilant and cautious at all time, for that enemy of yours, who is the devil, roams around like a lion, roaring in fierce hunger, seeking whom he may devour." And that makes me think about the sheep. And when we wander outside of the perimeters, we wander away from the shepherd, we're putting our trust not in the shepherd, but in other things, in our own ability, what we know, what we want to do, what feels good, what we would rather do, then we have isolated ourselves and opened ourselves up for that lion who is roaming around in fierce hunger, seeking whom he may devour. And actually, I'm pretty sure in this amplified version, let me go back to it. It says, seeking someone to seize upon and devour, to jump on, to get on. You think about, I don't know if you've ever seen any of those Animal Planet videos when the lioness really they just pounce those poor animals. They don't stand a chance. And that's what the devil does. He's enticing us, he's drawing us, he's wooing us to walk away from the shepherd, to put our trust in other things so that he can seize upon us and devour us. But I'm so thankful for Holy Spirit, who is with us, and as we talked about last week, is never going to leave us. He will remain with us forever, and that He guides and He leads. And as it says here again in Galatians 5, that we walk and live habitually in the Spirit, responsive to and controlled by and guided by the Spirit. Then we will certainly not gratify the cravings and desires of the flesh, the human nature, without God. So that is rod. Our discipline, protection. Again, parameters are set not to hamper your style or to throw off your groove. I can't believe I just said that. To throw off your groove. But parameters are set for our benefit, for our safety, for our freedom, growth, and development. The other thing is a staff can be symbolic of authority. If you go back and in the story of the Exodus, when the plagues came, the Lord would say to Aaron, He would say, I had it, but this is just Exodus 8:5, and this is just one example. And the Lord said to Moses, say to Aaron, stretch out your hand with your rod over the rivers, the streams and canals, and over the pools, and cause frogs to come up on the land of Egypt. So when he stretched forth that rod, as the Lord instructed him to, and then called forth the frogs and all those things, he had authority to do so. And those are some things that we're going to look at. And you go back through, I encourage you to read those first couple of chapters of the book of Exodus, and you will see how he says, pick up the staff, stretch it forth, and call these things to be. You can think of a staff as, it's also translated scepter in some places. And of course, that's symbolic of a king and a king's rule. So we're at 5 minutes, and we're going to get into this a little bit more later. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.